What's up, YouTube? Eric from Our Real Estate Journey. Uh, Another update on this nightmare of a bathroom. Today's lesson is grouting. So, here is the grout that we went with for this floor. Map-I, unsanded. FYI, if your grout line is 1/8 or less, which ours, the spacers were 1/16th, and to be honest with you, I think they were closer to 1/8. But anyway, they said 1/16th. Anyway, you can use unsanded for 1/8 or smaller. Anything bigger, use a sanded grout. That way, prevents cracking and all that. So anyway, I've never been good about picking out grout, to be honest with you. I figured this is a lighter tile with darker brown coloration throughout, so we should go with something mid-level. As you can see here, this looks pretty dark. This is the bone, and so this is what we went with. The bag is shredded because I'm an idiot, and mixing this in the garage, I opened it up, poured it into the water to start mixing, and as I went to pick it up and pour a little bit more in, the bag completely ripped and dumped most of this out onto the floor, and more of it even into the mixing bucket. So then I had to add more water, and what ends up happening then is I have a ton of extra grout that ended up being wasted. So that was the first part of this, the trouble. Now, however, that this has had time to dry and cure over a day and a day, I guess, and a little over 24 hours now, we are not happy with this at all, the coloration. First of all, it's much lighter in most of the spots. It's much lighter than the bag. That was that's frustrating to begin with. Secondly, it's discolored, so you see throughout. Let me try to get a little closer to show you some of this discrepancy. See how it's light there and then kind of dark in some of these other spots? It does that throughout the whole floor. And I've grouted, it's been a while since I've had to grout a floor. I've done a lot of backsplashes and stuff throughout, the past couple years. Never had this problem. And I don't recall ever having this problem doing floors years and years ago. So I went online, and lo and behold, it says there were a couple reasons for this. One could be that your thin set was not cleared out deep enough throughout the grout lines. That may have been the case in a spot or two, but definitely not the whole floor this much. So I know that's not the case. However, what I do believe the case is the mixing process and the water. What happens is, if it's mixed properly, which is just, again, I just use water. I didn't even use the added agent to strengthen it up, and I can't even think of what that agent's called. But I believe I mixed it up fine, other than the mishap of dumping it and having to add a little more water. But when I got in here and cleaned it up, swept it up, vacuumed it up, started grouting, I did basically about I guess that'd be about a 3-foot wide section there. I did all that, I grouted it all in. Then I wiped it with the water. But I think there, and even throughout the rest of the floor, I think I had a little bit too much moisture in cleaning it up. So I believe that it just came down to just went a little too wet with the sponge. So I didn't notice it at the time, and I figured I'd just come back and do the final little wipe up to get the film off of it today. But as I looked at it and Kathy looked at it with me, we're not happy with the color at all. So we believe that's what happened. So now what I will have to do is use this here. There's a couple different tools to remove grout. There's the little handheld ones, which I have. I'm pretty sure I have one of those somewhere. I looked for it the other day, couldn't find it, but gave up pretty quickly. So I all right, had a phone call. Broke up the recording there. If you've watched my earlier videos, it's happened a couple times, I believe, at this point. So get used to it, I guess, if we're using a phone. Anyway, so I went and bought this grout removal bit. It's a universal one by Dremel. And just an FYI, a tip that if you can't find one that fits your, because most of them are universal, but if you can't find one, say, for instance, that goes with the DeWalt, Dremel has two that are like this that say universal. This one is truly universal. And you know what? Let me do this for a second. Pull this out for you. Okay. So this is by Dremel. And you can see their grout 1/16 removal has this diamond or carbide tip on it. And you can see I use this a little bit already. But the first one I bought looked a little different. It also said universal, but it was more like a V shape here. And it does not fit the DeWalt tool. So live and learn. Return that. Got this one. And this one, the first one that's not truly universal was at Lowe's. This one is universal. This one was at Home Depot. So just FYI there. Home Depot seems to, at least here locally for us, Home Depot covers has a lot more Dremel tools. And not that I have a Dremel. I think it's called a 4200. I'll do this later. Thing is a 4200, but I don't use it. I really just need to sell it or something. So maybe Lowe's has a lot more Dremel stuff than I realized, but I know Home Depot had a really large display. So anyway, I just thought I'd update you guys on this. I'm going to remove all this grout because I loved to be tortured, and I love that this bathroom's already at the 3-month mark, and looks like it's going to be another freaking month. So I guess I just don't want to ever finish this. So anyway, I'm going to remove this and we'll pick a different grout. Probably go something a little darker. So anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Questions, comments down below. Subscribe if you'd like. Hit the like button if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Either way, talk to you next time.